bringing you a breakdown of one of the newest ships in my security division. No, sorry, my special forces division for Nova Corps. So this is the Mantis fighter. I did get a couple of requests for this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and break it down. The ship itself is only a 1 2x1 hab. It's mainly meant to be a fighter role ship. So if you're looking for that, then this is a good ship. But when it comes to like other useful um, pieces, you could always just stack more engines and then just keep it like at 100 mobility. But the ship itself, the way I intended to use it was just purely for um, a fighter role, and this is just more of like a roleplay aspect. But let's go ahead and just break the ship down. So it's always best. I'm just gonna break down the ship from the landing bay and then just continue onward. The ship originally actually started up at the front with these prong, like I was creating an idea with these prongs before it ended up evolving into this ship. But yeah, um, I'm probably gonna end up actually tagging the appropriate person, and I actually think it is Starfield Shipwright that made the Constellation Field Jumper. The front prongs are definitely heavily inspired by it, especially how it kind of goes down and then curves outward like this. That was something that the Constellation Jumper had, except they used, I believe, these parts right here, kind of like this. But this look, where it goes like L and it kind of points out or flares out like right here, was definitely inspired by the Field Jumper. So I'm going to end up tagging them appropriately when I end up actually posting this. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Now I can actually see the chat. Okay. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and just break down this ship. So this ship, for this particular ship here, there are a few mods that are going to be necessary. The standard is going to be better flips and better snaps. They're used in pretty much every one of my modded builds. You're also going to, well, not necessarily need, these are optional, only if you want to have this ship to the exact specs. You could get away with not using Avon Tech. Avon Tech is used strictly for the reactor and the grav drive. I mainly use the reactor because it's a 35 power generated, and this ship doesn't really need that much power. So unless you're going to be running like a full weapon suite, which I don't like doing, but you definitely can make the ship a lot more useful than the way that I designed them. But that was the reason why I used the Avon Tech. You could definitely swap it out for literally any other mod, but that one is there. Dark Star is also used. Dark Star is used for the front weapon here. It is a full auto laser gun, and it is, if I can manage to find it, should be right here. Yeah. So it's the Dark Star Instigator laser. If I can find it. I could just like go to the menu, but I'm lazy. But it's a Dark Star Instigator laser. It just shoots really fast and it looks really cool, and I wanted something to kind of shoot fast out of these barrels. I was thinking about originally making it one of the Dark Star autocannons, but I kind of thought it would be cooler to have lasers instead, so I had this thing shooting at lasers. Dark Star is needed for you to get the top speed of 190. That is going to be necessary, so keep that in mind. You could just swap it out for other engines. There's a lot of other engines that you could use here, but I just wanted a single engine look. These are the Dark Star A-class ships, or the A-class engines, not ships, A-class engines. These have like pretty good thrust, and I feel like they're pretty useful for beefing up your A-class ships and making them a little bit more fun. Since A-class ships do tend to like lack in terms of power and everything else, they're extremely fun to fly, but they are pretty bad at killing anything, especially if you're like playing later levels. And lastly, another optional mod is going to be Owltech. This particular build is using the Owltech Hacker Hab, and I'll go ahead and give a tour as well, just so you can see it. But I did use the Hacker Hab just because it felt cool for this ship here, but you could use just the vanilla ones. There's also an Avon Tech beam back here, but you could swap these out for, I think there's other mods out there that might have something kind of thin. I just mainly used Avon Tech because it didn't obstruct into the engines, and it attaches these two pieces together. But I didn't want it to like clip through the engines, so that's why I used this one. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it for the entire, like the mods itself. Well, let's go ahead and break this thing down. So starting off with the landing bay, it's going to be the Deimos 120 LD landing bay. We're going to go ahead and take a any kind of hab that you want. In this case, it's going to be the Owltech Hacker hab. I'm just going to place that there. The actual shielding is actually this one right here. It's located on the back of the ship, on the back of the hab here. You would just take your standard shield reactor here. It's B-class Warden SG400 shield generator. You would just flip it until it's facing backwards like this, and then just place it on the back of the ship. We're also going to take a porthole, and you are going to need a passway in order for the porthole window to work, because if you're using play stores yourself, if you just put this here, I'm sorry, let's just put it up in the front just so it can snap. If you're going to put that there, the ship won't actually register that there's a window there, so you have to put a passway or a pass-through door in front of the portal, or like in between. That way it actually counts. Otherwise it will not consider it a window. I don't know why, but you know, that's just the thing. But all you have to do is just get it as close as you can, select the entire portion here, and when you press A, it'll just snap. And there you go, that's all snap. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab the engines themselves. They are snapping directly onto the sides of the hab, the last connection point. Right there. And these are going to be the Darkstar, again, the Darkstar WD 10X M108 engines. They're just the White Dwarf meshes. I like the White Dwarf engines, but they're honestly awful. It sucks because I really like single nozzle engines. I think they look pretty cool. Especially if we got like a really big one for like M class. Let's go ahead and move these out of the way because they just kind of get in the way. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab these decorative reactors. So the reactor themselves is going to be the tokamak reactor, the A-class reactor. Typically it's in this fashion. You would just scroll over to reactors decorative. This is part of the Better Flips mod. The creator, again, combined both their flips mod along with another mod called Junk in Your Trunk, which added decorative reactors, shields, weapons, etc. There's a lot of parts that they added that are decorative, and then they also get the benefit of being flippable in many configurations. So normally it's going to end up basically like this. You just take it, change your variant to where it's like the side one, and then just make sure it's flipped like this sideways. You would just place it on this side and on this side. The top snapping point, this one right here, that one is going to be snapping to the snap point right there. Just like that. Then we're going to go ahead and take a Deimos Spine A. We're just going to pull it over here off to the side, because there is a Deimos Spine B that we're going to be attaching to the Spine A, like so. So it'll be Spine A onto the Spine B. And these should be connecting like so. So the Deimos Spine is going to be connecting right here off to the side of this tokamak reactor. The very top connection point and the middle connection point, just like that. And then this one, since it's connected to this, will just extend outward to kind of cover up that part there. And then same for the other side. Next, let's go ahead and grab a Nova, the NG gears. I did use the Darkstar ones as well, just because I didn't want to have to use too many gears, and I can add as much as I want. But honestly, this is such a light ship that you could just get away with using like the regular NG gears. So just a note. But you would just take this, bring it up here as close as you can, and select all, and let it snap. The connection point itself is sharing the same connection point as this Deimos Spine B. It's going to be connecting right there, just so you're aware. So just bring it as close as you can, select all, and it'll snap. And that solves that. Next, we're going to be taking a Nova mini bracer as well as a Nova braking engine. Like so. These two pieces here are going to be snapping to the same point that these two parts are snapped onto. So you would just simply take a Nova Galactic braking engine, slap it to the side of the Nova mini bracer. The Nova mini bracer can be found in the structural section, all the way down where the regular Nova bracer is. It's just a smaller version of it. But right here, Nova bracer and then the Nova mini bracer. Just take the Nova mini bracer, slap a Nova braking engine off to the side of it. And then what you could do is, again, just grab everything, bring it as close as you can, like so. Select the original ship, and it'll snap to it, just like that. And then just do the same for the other side. Bring it close, select all, snap. Okay, now these two Deimos bellies, they are facing starboard and port. They are going to be snapping to the top of the Nova mini brace there. So you're going to grab this, and it's going to go right there. You'll know that it's properly blended when the Deimos belly is basically at the same connection point as the top of this. It's like halfway across, just like that. And then the same for the bottom, just match it. Do the same for the other side, like so. The Deimos belly is normally like this. You're just going to simply move over the variants until you get the bottom one, and then you can get these two. And after that, you can also use this one as well for the bottom pieces. Now, let's go ahead and keep moving on. We're going to go ahead and grab the Hope Tech Armstrong bridge. I actually don't know why it's brown. That's weird. There we go. Alright, anyway. The Hope Tech Armstrong bridge, it's can be found over in Hopetown in the Valo system. You don't have to use the commander. I just used it because it's like the strongest or the best version of that particular cockpit. You could use any of these Armstrong cockpits. They're all the same. The commander just gives you more cargo. That's all. Put that in front of the Owltech Hab, and that's the entire ship right there. This little section. We're gonna grab Deimos Cowling. You're used to seeing it like this. Just simply go to the next variant and it'll flip upside down. And you're gonna place that right underneath the Armstrong cockpit. Now this part right here, this is one of the weapons. This is a Metallurgist weapon. It's a direct fire flat cannon. I like the way that this particular piece blended. So let me show you what's going on here. So before, it was meant to kind of just be like attached to the bottom of this, but you can barely even see it sticking out. Watch. You can't even see it sticking out. So I was like, well, I want to see the actual weapon. So what you could do is take a tile equipment plate. Is there actually two? Oh, there is. Okay. You're going to take a tile equipment plate and then you're just going to flip it until it's upside down. Now, this particular build is using 2 of these weapons merged into one another, just so they can have a little bit more damage, because Matilda's finally did rebalance their weapons, because they were dealing like an absurd amount of damage before. Like, their A-class weapons were dealing like 200 damage per shot, so the creator, whoever was building Matilda's, they ended up fixing it. So now all the weapons can be used, and they offer a little bit of a new niche to the weapon system, so you can have a little bit more variety in your builds. So the way that I blended these two is actually really easy. You would just get 2 of these built right next to each other, and all you would need to do is just like a drop down merge. Technically a drop up. You could do drop down too. I don't know if that'll work, but you know, still. Just place that there. Move this one out of the way. Place. Oh wow. One of the few weapons that actually won't let me merge. That's crazy. Okay, well anyway. Actually, I know a better way. Let's move that down. If you have the Nova mini bracers, just put 3 side to side. Like so. You're going to put 3 right next to each other. And then put these 2 right next to each other like this. After that, delete the middle one. Select all of this. And then select the Nova mini bracer. And now they're merged. So now, when you pick up this item, you can just delete the copy of the equipment plate, because now, again, the game is tricking the weapons into thinking that they're both sharing the same connection point. So they will snap, they're snapped onto the exact same equipment plate. That's why it leaves one behind. But anyway, you just take this that's now merged, put it on the bottom of this Nova mini bracer. And then this is what's going to be going underneath the ship there. So you could just remove that. Take this, place it underneath the cockpit like so. And then just replace the piece like that. And I like the way that looked. I thought it looked pretty sick. Just kind of poking out like that. So, yeah. There's that. Now let's go ahead and continue on with the rest of the top. So this is actually where a lot of the cargo is. It is a hauler 10-ton cargo hold, the 20-ton, and then another hauler 10-ton cargo hold. Normally we're used to seeing it like this. You can only flip in this direction and this direction, but then just move it over and you get a top part. There's going to be a Deimos docker, and then there's going to be a grav drive, and then a reactor. Both of these are Avon Tech. Again, you could use literally any of the other reactor and then just embed it within this docker. You won't really notice much of a difference. I just wanted to use these just because I didn't want to use too strong of a reactor, because I didn't need a level 60 reactor for this very simple build. But let's go ahead and grab the 110 dB docker. It's a top facing. Place it. There you go. Right there on top of this piece right here, the very front, right next to the cockpit, is where it's going to be landing. Then we're going to go ahead and get this here. Just simply place them all in a row like so. It'll make things a lot easier. Select it all, and then place it like this. So basically what's happening is that you're connecting the bottom of the last cargo hull right here to the top of that. That's all that's really going on there. Like that. Now let's go ahead and grab these reactors. So the way that I actually blended these is pretty much the same way that we've been blending everything. You're just gonna take it like this, just bring them up here, up to the front. Select the entire ship, but not the reactor, and then you're just gonna slowly drag it forward until it's right there. Like that. This reactor is attaching to the back of this cargo hold. That's all that's going on. Place it again right in front. Select all. Grab. Move it forward. One more. And there you go. They're now merged into the exact same space, as you can see. We're going to go ahead and take this Nova Mini Bracer. This Nova Mini Bracer is going to go to the back of these reactors here. If you need to make sure that it's actually connected, just take the cargo hold and the Deimos docker, just move it off to the side, and then you can just place this right there. It will connect to the between these two, so it actually works out pretty well. And then just simply take your pieces again, and then just place it back where it's supposed to go. We're going to be using that Nova Mini Bracer for these HopeTech caps here. Now, surprisingly, some people aren't too familiar with this actual piece. You're just going to go over to the structural and go down to the HopeTech section. And normally we're used to seeing the very first piece like this. All you would have to do is just switch or flip, and that's how you get the front piece. But when you switch the variants, it'll actually let you get the other parts. Some people actually weren't aware of this, so in case you didn't, that's how you can get access to these pieces. But you're just going to take one, let's go ahead and move it like this. Just going to get a piece like that, copy it, next variant, put it there, okay? Now this entire piece is going to be going onto the Nova Bracer, like I mentioned, and you'll know that it's connected because it's going to merge halfway through into the actual piece there. And in case you don't want to like eyeball it, or if you're not too comfortable doing that, again, you could just move these two pieces out of the way. Make sure it's actually connected onto the piece there by just selecting it and making sure it's actually snapped on properly. And again, just take it, move it back. There. Now that we've done that, we're going to take Deimos Spine B, and these are going to be going on both sides of the Deimos docker right up there, so we can fill in this gap that we have going on there, like that. There we go. So now it's filled. It kind of looks like it's sticking out and actually connecting to the ship. Moving back here, these two pieces, the Deimos Spine A, these are going to be connecting to that snap point right there. That one right there. And that's all that's happening. Just bring them forward, and now they're attached. And we're creating sort of like a vent system or like a protection for the engines themselves. That's what that's snapping onto. And then those AvonTech pieces that we were using, snap them there. Okay, let me show you all this. So this is just the HopeTech marker with a flipped upside down horizon weapon mount. We're used to seeing them off to the side, but thanks to better flips, we can now flip it upside down and right side up. We're going to flip it upside down, attach a HopeTech marker to it. It's usually like this. Just flip it upside down, like so. And then you can go ahead and attach this to the top of the beams here. That way you have that going on. Select all this. And we're going to be snapping them to the bottom of two Deimos Spine A's. They don't both have to be Spine A's. I just used Spine A's because it was the closest part to me, and then I just copied and flipped it just because I didn't want to go through the structure section again. And this part's hidden anyway, so it doesn't really matter what piece you use. But those are going to be flipped upside down like that. We're going to go ahead and grab this. And then these beams, the top of this beam is snapping to the bottom of that spine A there. That's what's going on. And like so. So now there's a little bit of symmetry going on with the actual engines. Makes them look pretty nice. Okay. Now let's go ahead and go down here. This is where I hit the fuel tanks. The fuel tanks themselves are the Atlas HE20 or the HE3 fuel tanks. These are snapping into that middle point right there. Just taking this and putting it right there. This one, putting it right there. We are used to seeing it in this configuration off to the side. This is what we're used to seeing it as. Whoops, like this. Those are the only ways that we're used to seeing it, but with better flips, you could flip it to be facing forward. Now that we've done that, we're going to be attaching these prongs to the actual ship. But first, let's go ahead and get rid of these bumpers here. These bumpers are going to be attaching to that point right there. Where is it? There we go. So it's actually, it's actually the Nova mini brace that's like embedded in there is what this thing is attaching to. You'll know that it's properly secured when it's closest to the actual braking engine. Yeah. Instead of being over here, which is like further away and more flush with that. This is because the actual prongs themselves kind of stick outward. So bring it back right there. Take this, get closer to the actual brake, the engine brake, and it'll snap. That's as far as we need it. There's a little bit of a gap there. Now, the way that this entire front part was originally built was actually with just HopeTech pipes. So what I did was I just took a little grouping of HopeTech pipes here. This is pretty much the way that I did the alabaster, except obviously not with this row of flipped upside down pipes. Those were not there. So all that's going to happen is you're going to be taking the HopeTech pipes like so. These are just going to be facing all in one direction, up to 4 HopeTech pipes across. And then you would just simply take the piece itself and then just flip it upside down. Also 4 across. You could just select this, bring it close, like right there, and then select all. It didn't actually snap. Okay. So it's going to play like that, huh? Okay. So anyway, since it's not actually allowing me to connect it, quick trick, just get an extra piece like this, snap it onto the selection of 4, select all, and when you click, just drag it over and it'll snap, and just delete the hanging off piece. And now, since these pieces are all sharing the connection point right there, you could just select all and it'll actually be a full set. So take this whole section. This section is going to be going on that connection point right there. Over there. That's how that's connected. Once you're done with that, we're gonna be taking a Demo Spine B, Demo Spine C flipped forward to aft, another Demo Spine B, and then a Demo Spine A. The A is not important. That was just used because it was the closest item to me. But we're gonna be taking this whole row of Demos pieces, select it all. This is gonna go onto the top of that entire assembly of pipes. Oops. Moved it too far over. It's going to go directly onto the top of the assembly, like that. Oops. Is that right? Why is it floating? What? Okay, hold on. Move it up one. What on earth? It's snapping onto the Nova break. Alright, so let's go ahead and just omit this part really quick, just so we can actually snap it. There you go. Okay. Just like that, it's going to be snapping directly onto the top, and then you could just grab this and just throw it back there. Or not. Don't delete it. The reason why I used it is just so I didn't have that gap. I didn't like that, so bring this over here. Just put it on right there. Select the entire ship. Deselect the Deimos Spine A. And then just grab and drag over. There you go. Then we're going to do the exact same thing. It's completely mirrored. We're going to be taking the exact same assembly of BCCB and place it underneath the ship. Over here in the last B section, I did put a Hunter Mag 450 missile launcher. You don't have to use these. You could use better weapons if you want, but that's where I placed them. Now that we've done that, let's go ahead and grab a Deimos bumper port 4. This is going to be snapping within that little section there. So it'll actually be that connection point right there in the front is going to be snapping to that connection point right there. Like that. And that way we have this nice connection, this solid connection point right there. Same for this part. Bring it over and it'll be right there, because that part, that connection point, we're going to be using for this side. Same thing. But continuing on from here, the Deimos Spine B is not entirely necessary, because all it's connecting to is that assembly right there. Right here. The Deimos Spine B, and then the other Spine B, which is attached to the reactor. So this part isn't necessary. It does kind of look nice off to the side of the ship the way that it is, like so. Whoops, that's not right. Let's see a little bit further in. Like that. And the reason being is that you could end up turning this into a different color. So like they say, for example, yellow. And then you'll have like this pretty cool looking side piece here, look. So if you want to add a little bit more customization, you can. Off to the side of your ship, you can end up hiding another strip of color there if you want. That's only if you want though. It's there for your consideration. But that's why that was placed there. Originally it was going to be off to the side, but then I realized that this is kind of blocking everything, so that ended up getting abandoned. But I kind of like the little bit of color that it left behind, so I kind of just left it there. Now, these pieces here, what's going on is this little assembly. So it is a HopeSec thruster, a Nova mini bracer, and 2 Deimos bumpers. The Deimos bumpers are simply snapping this connection point to the center of that connection point there, like this. And it's just like that. That's all that's happening. So this is this Nova mini bracer sharing the exact same snap point as this, and the metal of this and this Deimos bumper here. So we're gonna go ahead and grab all of this, and what's gonna happen is the top of this Nova mini bracer is gonna be snapping to the bottom of this Deimos Spine C. So what you could do is take a HopeTech thruster, take your Nova mini bracer, keep it off to the side, take the Deimos bumper and then the port aft version. Select all of this. Snap it on to the assembly here. Select all of this. Grab it. And we're going to move the Nova mini bracer to the middle. That way they're all connected like that. After you're done with that, you can remove the Deimos spine C4, the very first one. Take this and put it onto the top of that Nova mini bracer. Select all of this, and then we're just going to move it back by snapping those endpoints, that endpoint, and then that endpoint onto the ends of these endpoints here. Like that. And that makes things a lot easier because you could do it another way where you basically build the rest of the assembly and then snap this on, but that way is a little bit quicker. We're also going to be taking another Nova Galactic gear, but in this case it's the Darkstar. You can swap out for regular ones. And then a Deimos Wing E. The Wing E is going to be connecting to the middle of this pipe and this pipe. That is what the connection point is going to be shared. And then we're also going to be taking an equipment plate with one of the Darkstar weapons. It's the Instigator Auto Laser. This one shoots really, really fast. And since 24 damage is pretty decent shield damage at a fire rate of 12, I decided to only keep 2. You don't really need more than that. Plus, their max power is 5, so you can't really have more than 2 anyway, even if you wanted to. But go ahead and just take the equipment plate, take your Instigator Auto Laser, and just slap it on top. This is going to the bottom of the Deimos spine B here. Just simply take this, snap it on like that. Select the entire thing, and then you're just gonna snap it back. And there you go. It's hidden in there. And then take your Darkstar and the Deimos Wing E. Select it all. Bring it over here to the front. And then just select the entire ship. Grab it. Scoot it over. Connected. Now, the connection point is actually right there. Towards the end of the ship itself. Or the prong itself. Like that. So let's just go ahead and just redo this. Again, it's going to be 4 in a row. 4 HopeTech pipes. Let's go ahead and grab them. Four and 4. 4 regular facing this way. 4 flipped upside down. Just copy it. Snap it onto the end. Select this entire bit and merge them, and then delete the stray. Select the entire selection of HopeTech pipes. We are snapping it onto that snap point right there, like so. We're going to go ahead and take a selection of B, C, C, B, and then a spine A. We're going to go ahead and put this right onto the top of the pipes here. Now it's flush all the way back. Same for the bottom. B, C, C, B. We're going to be taking these, slapping it onto the bottom of the HopeTech pipes. So that way it creates that. We're going to take the HopeTech thruster, a Nova mini bracer, and then 2 Deimos bumpers. You can go ahead and let's move this back. Put that right there. Select the entire ship. Grab it. And move it to where it's inwards. Right there. You should only see the little circle right there. And again, you could just grab this, bring it all the way forward so you can hit the extra strip of paint for, you know, a little bit more style points. Take your HopeTech thruster. Take your 2 Deimos bumpers that you have right here. Slap it onto the back of this. That way it's flush along the side like that. Get this entire selection. Bring it towards the Nova mini bracer. until it's dead in the center like that. Let's take this entire selection right here. Oops. Bring it as close as we can. I lied. Take this Demo Spine C, place it on top of the Nova Mini Bracer, then select everything, and then just snap it back into place. Like that. Then take a Dark Star Nova gear. You could just use the regular one. It is called the NG15 landing gear. You could find this over in New Homestead, which is over in the Sol system. Take that and the Deimos Wing E. Bring it over here. Select the entire ship. Scoot it over. There we go. It's embedded into the middle or the last end of this piece here. You're going to take your Dark Star along with the Taio piece. Bring it over here. Grab the last Deimos Spine B up in the front. Snap it there. And then just snap it all back. And there you go. That's how you make yourself a Mantis. A real life Nova Core Mantis. Wow. So let me just go ahead and show off the ship and then a little bit of combat footage, just so you can get a better feel of the ship. And again, Owl Tech is not necessary, but I found it pretty cool for this ship as a whole. So let's go ahead and take a look as to what it's going to look like. Come in here. Now this Owl Tech is probably making some of my favorite. Why is it so loud? I don't know why it's so loud. Anyway, Owltech has a lot of like really cool habs. I really recommend downloading them. They have a really cool stuff. So this is the hacker hab. I thought it looked pretty sweet. You have a little bed for the pilot. Look outside. There you go. Let's take off.
Liftoff complete. Let's go.
Now, the reason why, again, I recommend Dark Star is because Dark Star has very fun engines. 190 movement speed is like crazy, especially for these ships, and it feels pretty good to fly. I think it's because it's like the WD engines that they're not really like super responsive in terms of like kick. You could probably just circumvent that by doubling up the engine instead of just using one each. But that is the firing rate for the lasers. Check this out. See, even only using 2 feels a lot of fun. This is the main autocannon. Pretty good, pretty good. And then just your standard missiles. Let's go ahead and shoot them. One of the bad things, though, about the Dark Star, again, I don't like my ships feeling like completely overpowered. So what I like to do is, with this particular laser weapon, I will use 1 power. And the reason being is that when you're at full power, you could just constantly shoot, which just does not feel fair. And again, you're only dealing about like 23 damage, but that's pretty strong shield damage for never running out of ammo. So I'll just bring it down to 1. That way, at the very least, let's let it recharge. That way, at the very least, when you're shooting, you can at least run out of ammo I prefer the feel of that, but you may not, so you could just keep it at 100. But look at the power now once we start going down. Whoops. That feels a little bit more fair. You lose a little bit of power. Does it kind of not feel too strong? It feels better to me. And it still recharges relatively quick, so you don't have to wait too long. And that's the ship. Oop, all the parts are flipping. But yeah, that's the ship. A lot of fun. The max speed again is about 190, so once you actually reach top speed, let's give it a second. Should reach about 1700 speed if I'm not mistaken. $17? Is it? Oh my god, it's going further. Okay, yeah. Nice. 1778. But yeah, that's some crazy top speed. Chances are you're never really going to get that fast though, because you being able to reach that distance is pretty wild, but that's some crazy speed. This is why I like Darkstar for engines. I think they're a lot of fun this way. So if you are looking for better engines, I highly recommend Darkstar. They are a lot of fun. And I haven't had any issues with compatibility. Some people have claimed that they've come across some issues while using this and other ship mods, but so far in my entire time playing, this one has never really caused me any issues. I have been having crashing issues, but that's because I've been downloading a lot of settlement-based mods, and that messing with the in-game world does not seem to play nice. So as soon as I turn them all off, I can edit my ships without a problem. They weren't crashing, so yeah, that's the Mantis Starfighter. So have fun flying it.